Good evening. Good evening, everybody. My name is Aurélien Lorange, and with my colleague from the Quarks Foundation, today we have 8 finals from the Hague Inter-University Law Debate Tournament. So I give the floor to my colleague, who will be the host for this match.
Thank you very much. As my colleague said, my name is Anna Maria Urbanova, and on behalf of Quarks Foundation, I'll be your host for today's session. We are delighted to welcome you to the match of 8 finals, where we see debate teams from University of Francaise in Armenie from Armenia, joining us from Yerevan, and of course the debate team of Queen Mary University of London, joining us from United Kingdom. Welcome to the students, and also welcome to the coach that is present for one of the teams. Good afternoon, or rather good evening to everyone. Today's debate session will be focusing on a debate statement released to the team 7 days in advance. The debate statement says as follows: the digitization of personal images and their storage on a blockchain is the most effective way to protect one's own image, and legal frameworks should prioritize supporting this approach, even if it means potentially limiting the use of personal images by others. The two teams have prepared for 2 sides of the argument. In a short while, we will know which side they will be representing during the session. But that's enough from the organizing side. It is now time for the students to introduce themselves, starting with Université Francaise in Armenie. Students, Ms. Svetlana Mrkchian, the floor is yours.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Svetlana, and I'm representing French University of Armenia. I'm a fourth-year law student, and I'm delighted to be in the 8th final and to debate with this team. And I wish good luck to all of us.
Thank you. Welcome. From Queen Mary University of London, joining us, Ms. Anna Tikhomirova.
Hello to everyone. My name is Anna Tikhomirova. I'm a first-year law and French law student at Queen Mary University of London. I'm incredibly excited to be here and to have the opportunity to debate with all of you, and good luck to us all.
Thank you. Welcome. From University Francaise in Armenie, joining us, Ms. Tatevi Khazarian.
Hi everyone, my name is Tatevi Khazarian. I'm a fourth-year law student in French University in Armenia, and I wish everyone a good game. Thank you.
Thank you and welcome. From Queen Mary University, Mr. Rishit Singh.
Hi, my name is Rishit. I'm a first-year law student at the Queen Mary University of London.
Thank you. Welcome. From Université Francaise in Armenie, joining us, Ms. Luisa Melkumian.
Hello everyone, I'm Luisa Melkumian, a fourth-year law student from French University in Armenia. I'm very glad to be here, and I wish good luck to all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you and welcome. From Queen Mary University, Ms. Fausta Zikuta.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Fausta Zikuta. Today I'm going to be representing Queen Mary University of London. And as everybody here, I do share the excitement about today's debate. Good luck to everyone.
Thank you and welcome. And also warm welcome and hello to the coaches of the two teams. Queen Mary University of London is coached by Mr. Zain Safdar and Sid Nagori. And University of Francaise in Armenie is coached by Ms. Akbine Arakelian and Ms. Paranza Mikalinian, who's currently with us also in the room. Welcome.
Thank you very much. My name is Paranza Mikalinian. I work at the Office of the Representative on International Legal Matters in Armenia, and I have also graduated from the French University of Armenia. I'm looking forward to the match, and good luck.
Thank you. And reflecting your sentiment, of course, good luck to the two teams. My colleague will shortly share the screen for the allocation of positions. And then, as per usual, you will have 5 minutes for preparation of your positions. Just a short reminder, if you see a yellow card, you still have 30 seconds left. If you see a red card, your time is up. Please conclude your sentences comfortably. Don't start any new ones. Again, best of luck.
Yes, so I will share my screen. So you will see the wheel with the possible positions up in favor and against. So in a few seconds in the WebEx room you should see my screen where there is a wheel, so it's possible to be in favor, possible to be against for the Université Française en Arménie or for Queen Mary University of London. So I click in the center. So this is Université Française en Armenie will be in favor of the motion and will be starting the match, because it's always the team in favor who starts the match. And as a consequence, Queen Mary University of London will be against the motion. So it means concretely that the Université Française en Armenie will defend the position that the digitization of person image and their storage on a blockchain is the most effective way to protect one's own image. And legal framework should prioritize supporting this approach, even if it means potentially limiting the use of personal image by others. On the other side, Queen Mary University will defend the position that the digitization of personal image and their storage on a blockchain is not the most effective way to protect one's own image, and legal framework should not prioritize supporting this approach, even if it will not potentially limiting the use of personal image by others. So now you will have 5 minutes for reviewing your notes, and we'll start with the Université Française en Arménie with the introduction after the 5 minutes.
Thank you very much. Your final time for preparation is now over. We will be starting with the position in favor, therefore with the debate team from University of Francaise in Armenie. You have 4 minutes for your opening statement whenever you're ready.
I'm ready. Ladies and gentlemen, today's discussion revolves around the protection of personal images. In today's digital age, personal image is vulnerable to exploitation and misuse. In this regard, blockchain technology offers unparalleled security and protection for personal images, and legal frameworks should prioritize supporting this approach. To advocate this idea, we have organized our arguments into two main submissions: the effectiveness of blockchain technology and the protection of privacy and ownership. Coming to our first submission, the use of blockchain technology to store personal images offers a high level of security and protection. This is a fundamental right protected by many legal systems around the world, for instance by Article 32 of the GBR in the European Union. Each blockchain transaction is cryptographically secured and verified by the network. The data stored on blockchain is decentralized, meaning that it is not stored on a single server or computer, but rather distributed across the network of computers. This makes it more difficult for hackers to access and tamper with the data. Recognizing the effectiveness of blockchain technology, Estonia, among many other states, has developed a national legal framework that supports the use of blockchain technology for storing personal images. Moreover, technological giants such as Codec One and Interplanetary File System, as well as such sovereign identity platforms, use blockchain-based systems for storing personal images. This enables individuals to store and control their own digital identity, including personal information and regulation data. Moving to our second submission, protection of privacy and ownership, we note that blockchain technology allows individuals to have the right to control and exploit the use of their own information. This right, often referred to as the right of publicity, is a fundamental human right and is recognized under various legal frameworks, such as the ECHR, the UDHR, and the national laws. Furthermore, blockchain technology ensures that personal images are not altered or deleted without the owner's consent. Even if the prevention of unauthorized access means potentially limiting the use of personal images by others, this level of transparency and immutability of blockchain transactions can encourage responsible use of personal data. The blockchain ledger can record information about the creator, the date of creation, and the subsequent transfers of ownership. This can prevent unethical or illegal practices such as identity theft or fraud, as all parties involved in a transaction can be identified and held responsible for any misuse or violation of usage rules. As an example, Codec One creates a digital certificate of ownership that can be used to prove ownership in case of a dispute. Importantly, costs take an attitude to blockchain evidence. For example, the Supreme Court of China ruled that the evidence presented on the blockchain ledger was admissible and reliable. Similarly, in the historic Bitcoin case of Wright versus Kleiman, a US court recognized Bitcoin evidence as admissible. In conclusion, blockchain technology continues to be the most effective solution. Therefore, legal systems should prioritize supporting this approach as it offers numerous benefits. This concludes my statement. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. For the opening statement in the against position, Queen Mary University debate team, you have 4 minutes when you're ready.
Firstly, I would like to thank our opponents for this amazing speech, but we will have to respectfully disagree as we are going to be arguing against the statement that the digitization of personal images and their storage on a blockchain is the most effective way to protect one's own image, and legal frameworks should prioritize supporting this approach, even if it means potentially limiting the use of personal images by others. To substantiate our position, we're going to put 4 arguments forward. Firstly, that effective protection of one's firstly, that blockchains do not protect the owner of a personal image. Secondly, that there are major jurisdictional issues with regards to blockchain use. Thirdly, that blockchain technology is contrary to many GDPR principles, as mentioned by the opposing team. And fourthly, that liability for end users is even more inefficient with blockchain technology. Going back to our first argument, it is important to establish that a major problem currently with IP rights is management is tracing complete change of ownership. Using blockchains would only exacerbate this issue. To create a blockchain, a person does not have to be the owner of an image. Therefore, the creator of the image is not protected. So, using blockchains would make it harder for one to protect their personal image. Moving on to our second argument, which is that there are major jurisdictional issues with regard to blockchain use. Currently, Berne Convention for the Protection of Literary and Artistic Works provides minimum standards for copyright protection and enforcement among member states. However, it provides only minimum thresholds, and each member state has its own intellectual property laws, which vary. Blockchain has the ability to cross jurisdictional boundaries, as the nodes on a blockchain can be located anywhere in the world. Prioritizing blockchains would therefore require a complete overhaul of the current legal system to accommodate this aspect of blockchains. Our third argument is that blockchain technology is contrary to many GDPR principles. This includes the principle of accountability, the right to be forgotten, and the right of rectification. Principle of accountability is set out in Article 5, subsection 2 of the General Data Protection Regulation. It provides that the data controller should be able to demonstrate that they comply with other principles of GDPR. However, as blockchains are largely decentralized and autonomous, it is unclear who is the data controller and therefore who should be liable. The right to be forgotten was established in the case of Google Spain by the EU Court of Justice in 2014. The right of rectification is set out in Article 16 of GDPR. In combination, these rights give individuals the ability to rectify any inaccurate personal data concerning them. Blockchain's working mechanism is based on the fact that information on them cannot be changed. So it is clear that the wide use of this technology would breach the mentioned principles of GDPR. Going to our fourth and final argument, which is that liability for end users is even more inefficient with blockchains. One of the major IP problems is the difficulty in locating and bringing actions against individuals. But blockchain technology is heavily reliant on encryption and other data protection techniques. So the wide implementation of blockchains would make an already difficult process of holding end users liable almost impossible. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are now entering the first round of rebuttal. University of Francaise in Armenie, you have 2 minutes for your first rebuttal.
Okay, thank you very much. Respectfully, I disagree with the opposing team's position as it lacks strong evidence and reasoning to support their claim. What concerns blockchain technology and GDPR, we believe that blockchain technology not only does not contradict privacy laws, but also facilitates the implementation of privacy laws in several ways. The GDPR in the European Union and other similar privacy laws around the world prioritize the protection of personal data. By using blockchain technology to protect personal images, individuals can comply with these regulations and ensure that their data is processed lawfully. For example, Article 5 and 32 of the GDPR, among others, require that personal data is processed in a manner that ensures appropriate security, including protection against unauthorized and for unlawful processing, and against accidental loss, destruction, or damage. Blockchain technology can provide a secure and decentralized way to store personal images, that complies with these legal obligations. Another example, Article 15 of the GDPR requires that individuals have the right to access and receive a copy of their personal data. By using blockchain technology to store personal images, individuals can easily and securely access to control their data, including providing access to others with their explicit consent. Thank you very much. That's it.
Thank you very much. Queen Mary University or debate team, you have 2 minutes for your first rebuttal.
Thank you. Am I audible and visible?
You are.
Thank you. I would like to thank the French University of Armenia for presenting such compelling arguments. However, I will have to disagree on certain accounts. The University of Armenia has argued that blockchain provides security. Yes, that is factually correct. However, it doesn't account for the fact that it provides security because of decentralization, and decentralization causes its own issues. One of the many is the fact that it makes allocation of accountability and responsibility incredibly burdensome within a legal framework. Blockchain has many components: miners, wallets, participants, developers, oracles, a governing body. And within all of these, it is incredibly difficult to determine who is processor, who is controller, and who is recipient. The second speaker who made the rebuttal spoke about Article 5 and 32, speaking that data needs to be processed in regards to certain GDPR standards, which is factually correct. However, it begs the question, processed by who? Who is the processor within this incredibly complex blockchain process? Decentralization is detrimental to an effective legal framework because where there is no accountability and where there is no understanding of who is responsible for what, how can one suppose that there is indeed security, in the sense that we imagine security to be very much dependent on both the principles of accountability and responsibility, both of which are upheld by GDPR and both of which have been acknowledged by our first speaker, Fausta. Second of all, it has been spoken about how control of one's own image is given by blockchain to the users. And the speaker connected this to the idea of immutability. However, immutability is actually a really incredible concern. It is also a violation of personal rights in regards to intellectual property. It is confirmed that blockchains are append-only ledgers in the sense that they specifically make it difficult to amend any information on there, and thus the right to rectification is fundamentally undermined. And as such, I would contend that the team of Armenia is incorrect in some of its stipulations. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For the second round of rebuttals, Universitatea Francaise in Armenia, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. Am I audible and visible?
You are.
Thank you. So respectfully, I will disagree with the opposing team's position by mentioning some arguments. First of all, we understand that once personal data is stored on a blockchain, it becomes difficult for individuals to exercise their right to erasure as required by the GDPR. In general, information cannot be deleted from a blockchain without detection. The immutability of the blockchain erasures that once data has been recorded on the chain, it cannot be alerted or deleted. However, legal procedures such as the recent case in France have offered a possible solution. In fact, the French Data Authority, CNIL, ordered a blockchain-based platform, Tezos, to modify its blockchain protocol to allow individuals to exercise their right to erasure under the GDPR. Moreover, there are some limited circumstances in which data can be removed from the blockchain. For example, in some blockchain networks, data can be removed through a consensus mechanism known as a hard fork. In a hard fork, a new version of the blockchain is created that does not include the data that is being removed. This simply requires coordination and agreement among network participants. Moreover, I would like to mention the relationship with IP laws. And to be clear, it is our submission that blockchain technology does not undermine intellectual property laws, but rather is consistent with them. In other terms, even though the digital images are intangible property, they may still be subject to legal protection and ownership rights, just like tangible property. Copyright law, for example, grants the creator of a work, such as a photograph, the exclusive right to control its use and distribution. And there are more examples of how it can be protected legally. And to conclude, I would like to mention that the blockchain the blockchain is very efficient, and the data protection can be very efficient through the blockchains. Thank you.
Thank you very much. For the second round of rebuttal, debating of Queen Mary University of London, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you. I would like to begin by acknowledging the counter-arguments made by the French University of Armenia. They have spoken of the French authority in regards to the right of erasure by Article 17 and how there is some talk of modification of blockchain in order to account for the right to erasure. However, the case of NOAC, the NOAC case of 2017 that was decided by CJU demonstrates that the right of erasure was indicated to be absolute. It was indicated to be the destruction of personal data as a whole. Modification would simply not allowed for the kind of standard of the right of erasure that is currently enforced by international property law. Second of all, the French University of Armenia has said that there is possibility for erasure to be allowed in certain instances in regards to blockchain, and talked about some of the technicalities which would allow erasure to persist despite the technicalities of an append-only ledger that blockchain is. However, wouldn't that undermine the greatest strength of blockchain? The greatest strength of blockchain is their transparency, it's their efficacy, it's the fact that one cannot intervene and amend information. However, if you're suggesting that in order to maintain compliance with international intellectual property law, one has to undermine one of the greatest strengths of blockchain, that seems to be counterintuitive and defeats the purpose of using blockchain in the first place. And even if, for some reason, arguing the alternative, the arguments of the French University of Armenia succeed, and it is said that blockchain is in compliance with intellectual property standards and international intellectual property law, that is not to say that it doesn't undermine other law standards in international law. The fact that the decentralization and the anonymity that blockchain oftentimes offers can be problematic in other contexts when examined through the lens of other policy requirements which arise in the international legal field, such as that of tax evasion and anti-terrorism legislation, that are very much apt to the discussion of images and have been used for this in the past. And as such, I conclude that the Queen Mary University team should succeed on this matter. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are now entering the conclusions. Debating of University of Francaise in Armenie, you have 2 minutes.
Am I audible?
You are.
Thank you. I respectfully reject the opposing team's position as it fails to acknowledge the crucial factors that are central to the topic of the debate. While blockchain technology does come with some risks, such as potential regulatory challenges, we submit that it is more efficient than traditional methods of and the risk level is lower compared to other methods of storing personal images, while there are many advantages of incomparable importance in favor of this technology. By providing a high degree of immutability, security, transparency, and decentralization, the blockchain technology has the potential to revolutionize many industries and provide significant benefits to the businesses and its customers. Ladies and gentlemen, as we conclude this debate, I invite you all to consider once more the importance of protecting personal image in this digital age. The rise of social media and the ease of image sharing has made it crucial for individuals to take control over their own image and its usage. Digitizing and storing personal image on a blockchain has the potential to revolutionize the way it is protected. It provides an unparalleled level of security and privacy, ensuring that personal image is protected from unauthorized use and manipulation. It is therefore essential that legal framework prioritize and support this approach, even if it means limiting the use of personal image by others. With this strategy, we can work towards a future where individuals have greater control over their digital identities and the use of their personal image. This concludes my statement. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much. Debating of Queen Mary University of London, you have 2 minutes for your conclusion.
Hi, before I begin, I hope I'm audible and visible.
You are.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We'd like to point out that the opposition paints a rosy image, but they fail to address the very same side, the other side of the very same coin. A picture is worth 1,000 words. For some, it's memories. For some, it's a treasure. But for blockchain, it is just one word: data. Data that it cannot protect. Because, firstly, blockchain, as my colleagues have pointed out before, because, firstly, blockchain cannot protect the owner of a personal image because of IP issues, as pointed out by, by my colleague Foster. Because, secondly, there are major jurisdictional issues with regards to blockchain use. Because thirdly, blockchain technology is contrary to GDPR principles of the right to be forgotten, which is a human right, as pointed out by the opposition, where blockchain adheres to some human rights within the GDPR. They fail to adhere to Article 5, Part 2 of the GDPR, which is with regards to the right to be forgotten. Because fourthly, and finally, liability for end users is even more inefficient with blockchain. They say that all parties can be identified and held accountable. However, this is untrue, as it was made clear by my colleagues Foster as well as Anna. And hence, we would like to make the submission that the motion should be denied, as blockchain is not the most effective method for the storage of images, as blockchain fails to protect postal images that are stored on it. And hence, we hope that you find against the motion and in favor of our team. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you to both teams for your preparation and execution of your arguments. You can now take a breather. You are no longer in the creative part of the session. It's been an honor and a pleasure to see your arguments and to hear your arguments for this match. Well done. As per usual, we'll do a short feedback session with everyone present, starting with the students. And then my colleague will conclude the session with a bit more information on what you can expect in the next days. So starting with the debate team of Université Francaise in Armenie, Ms. Bakatian, how did you find the match or the preparation? Is this a topic perhaps you already encountered in your studies?
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to say that it was a pleasure to play this debate with such an incredible team, and thank you very much. And the preparations were quite difficult, but we all enjoyed the process because it was quite interesting for us, and it was something new. We didn't think about that in the legal matters in our studies, but it was a great opportunity to find out, to discover such a great topic. So thank you very much and good luck to all of us.
Thank you very much. And from Queen Mary University of London, Ms. Tikhomirova, how did you find the match? Did you already encounter this topic in your studies?
No, unfortunately, I have not encountered this topic. I will have to mirror the sentiments that were just expressed, in that I didn't perhaps have the opportunity to address international law yet in my studies, which makes this entire debate tournament quite interesting because it's all international law. But it was definitely interesting in terms of preparation. I think perhaps we won't be the only ones when we looked at the debate question, we were just puzzled about what it could possibly ever mean. But once you figured out what blockchains are, you had to start with what a blockchain is. What is the legal approach? What is the current state of intellectual property law? It was really interesting preparing. And I have to say that I personally learned a lot. And I do have to mirror the sentiments that it was really great to come across a team of such incredibly high standards. You definitely gave us a really hard time in the best way, is what I've been saying. And you've definitely challenged us, and that's really appreciate on our behalf, and good luck to us all.
Thank you very much. Ms. Gazarian of Université Française in Armenie, how did you find the preparation? And did you perhaps hear some similar arguments from the opposing team to what your team prepared?
Yeah, actually, well, first of all, I'd like to say that the preparations were really challenging for us, as well as my colleague said, we didn't know anything about blockchains, and it was challenging to, first of all, understand what it is and then find out how it works. But it was interesting, and yeah, I think we both teams made. Well, we made the same preparations, so the arguments were also a little bit the same as we imagined they would be. And it was challenging, of course, to find counter arguments for the arguments that we all think was true. But it was interesting, and thank you very much for challenging debate. I hope we can later on in our career will meet and do a similar debate too, because it's interesting and challenging to meet people from different universities and well communicate with one another. So thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. Perhaps this is a good opportunity for for your two groups to connect, and perhaps even expand it for your fellow students in the university. I know for sure for Queen Mary University of London, the students present are also part of student association, I believe. So it could be definitely a good opportunity to keep in touch. On that note, Mr. Singh, how did you find the match to preparation, and did you perhaps hear arguments similar to what your team prepared?
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, like my colleagues have pointed out before, this is something that international law as well as blockchain is something that's very trending right now, especially with calls to regulate cryptocurrency and like the whole idea behind blockchain. So it was a bit unfamiliar to me. And during the course of research, I think obviously there were a few common arguments that both of us would have come across that we felt that the other team had used. And honestly, I think this was quite challenging as compared to the previous topics because this is something for me personally that I had not gone in depth before, but the debate allowed me an opportunity to learn more about blockchain and like regulatory components of blockchain, as well as the various legislations that exist. So it was quite interesting.
Thank you very much. Returning back the floor to debating of University of Francaise in Armenie. Ms. Arakelian, apologies. Ms. Malcolmiel, how did you find the experience? How did you find your team's preparation? How did you do? Of course, it's the first match of the final phase. How was the experience?
Okay, as Taltavik said, it was very challenging, and thank you very much for the opportunity to explore this field, and thanks a lot to the opposing team. You're great professionals, and it was a pleasure for us to debate with you. So it was very interesting for us. Thank you very much. I wish good luck to all of us.
Thank you very much. Ms. Hostazikute, the same question for you. How did you find the match of preparations here? Is the first match of the final phase for your team as well? What did you think?
Well, I will not say anything unique in saying that it was challenging, but looking from the other side, it made me appreciate, and I think it made us all appreciate how in certain areas of law, you don't only need to understand law, you also need to understand how a certain sector works. So for example, now we had to understand how blockchains work, but this goes the same way as, for example, with regards to energy law or other types of law. So I feel like this is a good practice for our future careers in law. But as my colleagues have said earlier, I did really appreciate the challenging arguments that the opposing team has provided. And I feel like a good challenging debate brings the best of both teams. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you very much. For the coach of the debating of Université Francaise in Armenie, Ms. Mikhailian, how did you find the experience? It's the first time the team is participating in the Hague Inter-University Law Debate Tournament, and you are now in final phase. How did you find the match, the arguments?
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm really happy that we made this far into the competition, given that it's the first time that the French University of Armenia is taking part in this debate. And I also take the chance to congratulate the Queen Mary University of making this far into the debate also. It's great already. From the coaching perspective, I also found the preparations quite challenging, given that my practice is more focused on international arbitration, investor-state disputes, and I'm not a blockchain specialist. So for me, I had to understand the topic in order to be able to guide the team. So I did my homework as well. And also it was a bit hard because I had to go out of the country for some reason. So yeah, this made the communication a bit more difficult too. But I really admired the debate. Like both teams made a great effort, and yeah, I really enjoyed observing the wonderful and thought-provoking arguments both teams provided. Thank you very much to you all organizers for this opportunity. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. And again, really well done to both teams. It's the first time for participation indeed for Université Francaise in Armenie, but it's also the first time participation for Queen Mary University of London. So really, congratulations on making it to the final phase. The winner of today's match, you will know once all the three judges will provide their forms. Once the forms are validated by the organizing team, you will be communicated the results, and then they will be announced on social media channels, that being Facebook and LinkedIn of the competition and the Corrects Foundation. The winner of today's match will continue into quarterfinals, beating the winner of the match that will take place later tonight, and that is the match between Manitoba and Melbourne. So definitely I would recommend to keep an eye out for the matches that are happening within this round as well. So I would say very interesting interpretations in regards to tangible and intangible properties. Personally, I really enjoyed the debates that have been happening so far during this edition. And the head goes down to all the students and the coaches and of course the judges that are supporting this edition. As per tradition, my colleague will be closing the session with already infamous round of what's the connection potentially between the teams.
Yes, it was very interesting indeed to see how you approach the topic, which is not an easy one because, of course, it's extremely recent, blockchain, international law mixed with it. So congratulations for all the efforts, for the research, of course, and for preparing to bring arguments on this. So yes, now we'll talk about, of course, your connections. As well, think about the fact that, yes, tonight my colleague and myself will have to host the match at 2 a.m. In the morning, so yes, it will be challenging, but yeah, the students will be much more fresh than we will be at the time, I guess. But yes, so I would like to ask to each student, for example, possible connections you might have between the two countries. Starting with Miss Svetlana Mkrtchyan, have you been in UK first, in London, or do you have any friends in London, eventually some connections?
Thank you. Unfortunately, I haven't been in London yet, but during my exchange programs, I met a lot of UK students, and I'm looking forward to visit once.
Yes, you can ask, for example, us to exchange contact details, to keep contacts indeed. Miss Tikhomirova, have you been in Armenia?
No, I've never been to Armenia, but I would love to. I just on a kind of unrelated side note, I was so excited to be up against the French University of Armenia because I study French law. So j'étais ravie de tout vous voir et de débattre sur ce sujet. Donc.
Yes, très bien, very good. Yes. So it's an opportunity indeed to have even a French connections outside of France, in Armenia. Miss Tativic Kazarian, have you been in UK? Do you have some connections, maybe in London?
No, unfortunately I don't. But I think we will be very well content to welcome you all in Armenia, as well. Armenia is quite a hospitable country, and I hope one day we can meet each other, well, either in UK or in Armenia. It doesn't matter, because I think both countries are have their own how do I call it, unique features that is interesting to find out anyway. So I hope we'll meet in UK.
Yes, indeed. I mean, it's a good moment for invitations, by the way. So now, Mr. Singh, do you have any friends from Armenia? Have you been maybe in Armenia?
Unfortunately, I haven't been to Armenia, or I know anyone from Armenia, but now I can say I know 3 people from there.
Yes, of course. So, yeah, first time. Miss Melkoumian, have you been in UK, or do you have any friends maybe in London?
Unfortunately, I haven't been in London, but I would like to, and I hope that one day we'll meet that of it. It will be a great pleasure for us. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Miss Zikute, have you been in Armenia? Do you have any friends, possibly?
Well, I haven't been in Armenia, but I do have some friends who are Armenian. And I do have to agree with one of the colleagues who said that Armenians are very hospitable. I have experienced that myself, but I'm looking forward to actually going to Armenia as well.
Have you tried some Armenian dish?
I have, but I don't remember. I remember the name. It was kind of a meat dish with vegetables, but that doesn't say a lot.
Yeah, vegetables. This is good for health. So yes. No, but I mean, it's a good way to indeed ask the students about indeed maybe you will recollect the name of that dish. But yes, and finally, I will ask as well the coach, Miss Perry Mikalian. Have you been in UK?
Unfortunately, I again have to give the same answer. No, not yet. But yeah, I would love to visit UK one day. But I have many friends, many great friends from the United Kingdom.
Okay.
So yeah, maybe I'll ask my employer to send me on a work.
Yes, an arbitration case in London, voilà.
Yeah.
Or there is a court of arbitration, I think, even.
Yeah.
So that could be a good way. So yes, so many thanks. So what will happen, of course, during the next days is the free judge will be assessing the match. They know that indeed it happens at this moment, and they will, during the next 2 days, watch and rewatch the match eventually. And indeed, then we'll announce, of course, and then you will receive the forms as usual. And of course, don't forget that everything you do in this competition as well can help the ranking of your university in international rankings with mode courts, debating competition, etc. Because yeah, as we announced during the networking session, we actually will be partner with a website which actually simply record the results of the teams representing the universities in different competitions for the universities, let's say, from this year to previous years as well. So yes, already what you have done during the group phase and this 8th of final match, maybe the next match as well, will as well be noticed, and as well will help your university to get even more visibility, particularly the law school. So I have nothing else to add, of course, and it was a pleasure, of course, to see your match and to see previous match as well. So I'm looking forward, of course, to hear as well how it will be in quarterfinals. So I give the last words to my colleague.
Thank you very much. And once more, I can only reiterate, well done to the two teams. Perhaps a short reminder, there is currently a form that was communicated to all teams in regards to the final week. So, of course, the students that will be in semifinals will already have the anticipation that their match will be taking place in the final week, that being the match for the first place or the third place. But of course, the events are open to all the participants, including all students, coaches, and judges. So, if possible, it's best to indicate to the organizing team if you're intending to travel to The Hague. That way we can provide some recommendations, or it also count in regards to numbers when preparing the visits to international organizations. Hopefully we'll be able to see in person, but of course some of the events will be set up in a way to allow also hybrids, that means in-person and virtual attendance. So fingers crossed to seeing you there as well. And of course, have a good rest of the day and the week. Thank you.
Many thanks. Thank you to everybody. Bye-bye, Armenia. Thank you. Bye-bye.